Welcome back to Fire and Smoke, Blight and Bloom. We are Phillip,
Abby,
Blake,
Ethan, Eric,
also known as Dungeon Master.
Odessa Vandiver,
Randolph Higdon,
Scratch, Sleeves.
Last episode, the furries made their way. Oh.
No, it's okay, Phillip.
Last episode, the furries, parentheses, trail mix, made their way to find the object that was thrown by the assailant into the woods in an effort to distract the group. By the time they got there to find what was evidently the assailant's gun, somebody else had gotten there first. Some buddies. 3 eastern gray moles who were seeking to stop the destruction of the forest by the logging company. Only one of the actors at play that's bringing desolation to the forest. And there was a conversation that was had in which more was learned about the moles and more was learned about the group. The gun was taken from the moles. The moles were convinced that they were on the same team as Odessa, and they agreed to do a task to go check out the location where the assailant jumped off the cliff, or rather where their body fell, and then to meet them at Odessa's house in the company town, see if they couldn't get information about who was there or people in town. The furries headed off into the mountains towards the Holler that Odessa used to live in before she moved to the company town to find work as a miner. After a couple hours of labored walking up and down and around steep hill crests through lush green vegetation and crossing some chance gravel roads that would eventually head out of the mountains to civilization, you make your way towards the entrance of the Holler. In a watershed that lies between 2 ridges sits the Holler. There's a small creek that runs down the middle and is the central vein of this mini ecosystem within this greater forest. It is much cleaner than the one in the company town, which is polluted with coal dust and mining sludge. Along the creek and connected by a meandering dirt path through the trees are picturesque log cabins with accompanying gardens and animals. The cabins are spread far apart, almost out of sight of each other, and almost all of them are dark at this time of night. Odessa? As you approach, you see there is in fact one cabin that is illuminated in the darkness, and you hear some voices. The cabin is of your friend, Edward Harbin. He's a man who was also a miner for a time, but he only works periodically. You see as you approach, oil lanterns hanging on the porch where a group of people sits on various benches and rocking chairs, talking, laughing. It sounds like they're even playing a little music. You hear the sound of a dulcimer, which is like a small lute or guitar that sits in the lap as you strum it, and a pair of spoons aimlessly finding a rhythm together among the conversation. They're up quite late, as it's only a couple hours before dawn at this point, but it sounds like they're having fun. Once you get close enough, you see on the porch 4 people you recognize and 1 you don't. The Harbins, a black man and a black woman, the Vos Goujots, a white man and a white woman, and an unknown person who appears to be an indigenous woman. They don't seem to notice your approach. I should also note that Odessa is leading the way, Higgs just behind her, and then in Higgs's trench coat, one on top of the other, forming a much shorter person, the coat dragging on the floor even more than when Higgs wears it. Scratch and Sleeves. Who's on top and who's on bottom?
So I would prefer to be on top for obvious reasons, but also there's no chance I shouldn't be on the bottom with my 6 legs, and Sleeves should be on top. Like, that just makes sense logistically, so I'm definitely on the bottom.
So Sleeves, your little head, your mouth hanging open with your extra row of teeth.
Oh no.
Sit on top. And I believe the goal is that you just stay further back in the darkness and try not to talk. We'll see how that goes for Sleeves. Odessa, like I said, you approach and nobody notices you on your approach. So you have the first ability to call out or interact.
Did we want to do that? Do we want to interact?
I don't know. Is there another way we could get somewhere to stay without interacting?
Me, when I thought there was just like an empty house that like had belonged to my family and it's just like sitting there.
Someone's probably moved in by now.
Yeah, it was a number of years ago. I guess maybe last time you visited, you might have heard whether or not somebody moved in. So if you want to do a history check.
I would love to. 7.
Last time you were able to make your way out here because you work pretty constantly. You're paid the lowest wages in the mine. It's the way you were able to secure a job in the mine despite any prejudices the owner might have. because you offered to be paid the lowest per pound of any miner. So you work pretty constantly to support yourself, and you're exhausted afterwards. And all your other energy most of the time goes towards supporting others, trying to help with the union cause, trying to help other people get by, even though you struggle yourself. So it's probably been a couple years since you've been here. You don't remember a conversation about whether somebody has moved into your old place or not. It seems likely, though.
Well, which one's your house? Can't we just... Why do we gotta talk to the people?
Well, someone's probably moved in already. So we would have to talk to them to figure out if we could even like stay there.
What do you mean they moved in?
People move into houses.
You don't live in your house anymore?
We had to move out. We had to move out because we couldn't provide for ourselves anymore and had to go work for the mining company.
It sounds like you hate those guys.
Who?
The mining people?
Do you not know what they've been doing?
I'm pretty sure they like take rocks and then move them to sleeves. Where do they put the rocks? I know they're not still where they found them. They must have put them... Otherwise, there wouldn't be a reason to move them.
Maybe they're trying to make their own caves.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Those
Maybe,
are their own rocks.
so maybe they're hollowing out like cave. Is that where people go and live? Is in the where the rocks used to be?
Yeah.
No.
No? Well, why are you making caves?
There's like a very valuable resource in the caves that kind of like powers things.
Like cake?
Yeah, you could say cake.
I don't think you can get cake out of rocks.
That's a weird way to put it.
Cake, you eat it, it powers you.
I'll see why you don't like doing that. I'd be happy mining cake every day.
In their time, as you move about the forest, you've probably seen some of the destruction caused by mine operators. Some operate by, when veins are close to the surface, just full mountaintop removal, blowing up mountains, essentially, and getting the coal out of the debris, and the rest goes into the adjoining creek or hollow or what have you. They usually come in after the lumber companies have cut down trees in sections. It usually goes lumber companies, then coal mines once the area is cleared.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, then where are we gonna sleep then if you don't have a house?
There are 2 different houses that we could maybe stay at. I remember 2 different couples.
They're hanging out together at one house right now.
So one of the houses is free. All I'm saying is if we go in the house and you do that lock thing on the door, then they can't come in the house afterwards.
They probably can come in. We just need to talk to them and ask if they will let us stay.
All right, well, we'll stay back here.
But that's no fun.
You want me to come over there?
Do you want me to come with you too, or should I hang back with them?
You should probably hang out. You'll scare them.
I think Grape is the scariest out of everyone here.
Grape.
Yeah, no offense, but it's just not a good look.
What, the trench coat? Because you guys are wearing that now. I'm just a guy.
Yeah, but you're like a weird guy.
Yeah.
I don't think I look particularly
Your
weird.
shoulders start lower than all the other humans' shoulders, and yet your head is like really high on where other humans' heads would be.
Yeah, the trench coat.
And you got the
Made you
weird
look
eye covers,
hardcore.
the scales.
The glasses? They help
It's
me
just-
see better.
It's just, see, that's unsettling. I don't think the other humans are gonna like that.
I could take them off.
I think that was worse,
That was worse.
right? It's
I
not just me.
remember.
It,
No, yeah.
it was weird.
I guess I'll hang back then.
You get to be in the safe group.
Yeah, it's fine with me.
So Sleeves and Scratch and Grape/Higgs are
Just not my name.
are hanging back, and Odessa is going to go up and talk.
Mm-hmm.
You approach the porch. What do you say as you do so?
Hark, friends.
Hark, good
Ahoy.
friends and patrons. Ahoy.
Behold.
Ahoy, hoy.
That's how I usually start my conversations. Behold.
I have returned.
You could also pretend that you've lost consciousness.
Faint in front of them.
The gender sympathy.
Odessa will say, "Hey y'all, meet a few friends."
Odessa? Odessa! As you see, Edward stands up from the porch and starts waving at you. Come closer, we can't hear you.
Okay.
Don't go too close.
Odessa walks up.
You see Edward and May Harbin sitting next to him. Edward is probably in his mid-40s. His black hair is cut very close to the scalp, basically a buzz cut, and he has a thin black mustache. He wears a white button-down shirt, the sleeves rolled up. You also see that he's a more slim man, though like anyone who spent time in the mountains or in the mines, he has plenty of lean muscle. He stands up from his rocking chair. The conversation stops. Odessa, how are you?
I've been better. How are you?
Well, we're having a mighty good time. Just talking, such. What brings you here back in the middle of the night?
Well, actually, I really need a safe place to stay. I have a few friends and we were in some kind of danger.
You see May sitting next to him speaks up, and May is probably also in her mid-40s. She wears a long dress, kind of, blue and white plaid, though it's also dirty from a day's work, but she has a coat over it right now as the nights, become a little bit cold. Her hair is a little longer than Edward's, and she holds a pair of spoons that she was just playing before everybody stopped to have a conversation with you. And she says, "A safe place to stay? What happened?"
One of my friends got shot.
One of your friends got shot?
Yeah, and we don't know who did it. And we're just trying to stay away from all that and find a nice quiet place for the night.
Claude Gougeot, a man you also know from the time you lived in the Holler when you were younger, speaks up now. He's a gruff man, maybe late 50s or early 60s, mid 60s at this point. His face seems to be resting in a permanent scowl, furrowed thick eyebrows and a slight frown framed by his blockish head. He rocks in his chair, wearing tattered overalls and a button-down, and the dulcimer sits in his lap. His hair is short, dirty blonde, falling just above his ears, though it's thinning now. And when he speaks, he seems like he's talking out of the side of his mouth most of the time. Damned company town. I always knew those miners were no good. I don't know why you moved there.
I don't know half the words you said.
You see Esther, his wife, who you always knew as Esther Vos, not Esther Gougeot, speaks up and she says, "Well, you know how Claude gets sometimes. You can't really understand him. He said that the mine town is always full of ruffians and no-gooders and people coming into the mountains to destroy the landscape, and it's just a dangerous place."
That is so true. You should just speak for him.
Yeah, it's what I tell him. And she begins laughing, and Claude kind of rolls his eyes.
Yeah, screw Claude.
By the way, who is this other woman here?
The person that you don't know addresses you and he says, "Do you mean me?
I do.
You can call me Jess." And Jess, taking a longer look at her, she's probably only in her late 20s, maybe mid to late 20s. Her cheeks are covered in dark freckles that frame her light hazel eyes, and she wears a loose white blouse tucked into jeans tattered and worn with heavy use, and her only other adornment is a small golden locket that hangs from a chain around her neck.
Nice to meet you, Jess.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Jess.
He's like, cover his mouth.
Scratch, Sleeves, and Higgs, you guys are still back in the woods, kind of hearing this conversation faintly.
What has brought you here?
Oh, I came here a few years ago. I am on a little bit of a journey of self-discovery, let's say.
What are you discovering?
Well, my grandmother always told me stories about these mountains, and I wanted to come see them for myself, for her.
Where are you staying?
Oh, one of the houses down the way.
Do you think you have room for a few others for the night?
You see, Edward speaks up and he says, "Well, Odessa, if you need a place to stay, I'm sure you could stay with me and May. I mean, we don't have the most room, but what do you need, a hot meal? Where are your friends?"
They're just a far ways back. Just gonna slowly make their way here.
Friends far back, are you like in sight of the cabin?
We're able to see the cabin.
We're close enough that we saw all the people talking and hanging on the porch and then stopped, I think. They could probably see us.
Yeah, that's it. Well, Edward is just going to crane his neck to look over and see your friends that you're pointing to behind you off in the distance in the darkness, a little bit of cover, let's say, so he'll do so with disadvantage. He squints and he says, well, I suspected that I needed glasses, so can't make out much, but so it's just the three of you?
Yeah, just three of us.
Well, who are your friends? Also, you were shot. We moved. I'm sorry. So you need a place to stay.
Just like us.
You need a place to stay, and somebody shot you or one of your friends?
One of my friends.
Well, why was one of your friends shot?
We'd really like to know that as well. We don't know.
Well, do they want to come have a hot meal? We're always excited to meet new people, make new friends.
Can Sleeves hear this?
Yeah, you can hear the muffled
Okay, cool.
conversation.
Maybe they'll take well to you guys.
Just introduce your good friends Grape and Mr. Fox from a distance.
The fantastic Mr.
Fox. And then don't get into detail.
Yeah, we would love a hot meal.
Well, why don't you invite them on over to the porch? They could sit with us and have a nice conversation. I don't think we were planning on tucking in anytime soon. We're having so much fun. Oh boy, I love these nights.
Scratch. Start walking.
I don't think I want to walk.
I think it's time for us to get over there.
Tell them we're not hungry.
Are they all drunk?
You see that there are a number of bottles around. It doesn't seem like everybody's inebriated. It doesn't seem like anybody's falling over per se. But you remember from your days in the Holler that almost every house along the creek has their own still where moonshine whiskey is produced.
Oh no.
Get away with this.
Despite the federal ban on the consumption and production of alcohol. So it looks like people are drinking, but they're not drunk. They drink to help pass the time as they have the conversation.
All right, I think we should head over, guys.
Sleeves starts waving, but like his arms are so short that
They're not out of the sleeves. I imagine that Scratch is on all sixes, and you are like sitting on his back, kind of upright, your head popping out of the coat, and like your arms and your front two arms in the sleeves, your sleeves in the sleeve.
It's really just Sleeve wearing the trench coat, and then it kind of just drapes on top of
you have
Scratch.
a short, a round low to the ground.
Hey,
So
Mr. Fox
Sleeves,
does as he does.
you wave, and you see people on the porch give you little friendly waves back, and Esther says, well, yeah, you guys, tell them to get over here, but they must be chilly out there. They can sit under the lamp so they can have some drinks if they want, or we can put the pot back on the fire instead, make some soup.
You are the most kind woman ever. And Odessa waves them over.
All right, Scratch. Let's head over, guys.
start walking. Go.
Just act.
All right,
Give him the little like horse like.
I'm walking.
Just act natural, guys.
So I walk and I
Scratch.
try and keep my pace like as even as possible, as if that's how a person walks, but like that they don't really move like that, like trying to glide perfectly straight, not going up or down. So it's not a great impression probably of a person walking.
Mr. Fox glides across the first floor.
The trench coat on the ground,
The
so you
trench
can't
coat
see the legs.
dragging
It's just kind of
behind
at the
him.
same height, moving forward in a straight line.
Such a good point.
You've got 6 legs,
Scratch,
so you move more
Can
like
you
a tank.
make just a dexterity check, and it's not a high DC, just like a 5, let's
Can it
say.
be a
even.
save? Can it be either a save or acrobatics?
You can do acrobatics.
Thank you.
A really low DC just to make sure you don't trip over the coat in
It's fair,
front of your front paws.
Ooh, it's a 15.
Yeah, you don't trip over the coat. It's fine. So Mr. Fox glides across the
Could have had
ground.
a perfect human impression on a nat 20.
Higgs walking beside him, and the two of you approach the porch into the light. I'm gonna make a perception check on the parts of the people on the porch.
Yep.
Please be drunk.
Please.
He's just rolling so many times.
Everybody's rolling. There's
Everyone's
5
rolling.
people on the porch.
I guess.
Disadvantage for everyone.
Oh.
You see, as you approach in the light, Sleeves' head sticking out the top of the trench coat, and say hello. Claude Gougeot.
Oh, it's the worst person possible.
No, it's okay. He's gonna tell them all,
On
guys. That's a fox. It's not a person.
They're not gonna understand.
Oh, no, 2 nat 1s.
Claude Gougeot on 2 nat 1s says, "Well, hi there, friends. It's nice to meet you, Mr.
Randolph Higdon, but you can call me Higgs.
I only
Great.
at this
and
point stop walking.
Mr.
Sleaze. Nice to meet you.
So on 2 nat 1s, Claude Gougeot says, "Nice to meet you, Sleeves." And you see Esther on a natural 2 says, "Well, don't you just look peculiar?" And Edward and May Harbin both faint, falling back in their chairs. And Jess's eyes go wide as they see Sleeves.
You didn't let us roll deception or anything.
You want deception?
Yeah, I do.
If you tell me you've
Take it.
done something semi-convincing to
just-
Sleeves' fox head,
Just
I'll let you roll deception.
absolutely just take what he gives us. There's no way.
I don't think we have anything we can do.
What have you
with
done to
the fox.
Sleeves' fox head?
He could be holding a gun.
It's like
That's not better. It's the only thing I can think of to make him more
Are you,
human.
okay, when you say that, do you mean in his mouth or in one of his hands sticking out of the sleeve?
Like tied to the edge of the sleeve. I don't think that's better. Is the only thing. It's more human, but it's
Dragging
worse.
on the ground.
Okay, never mind.
worse.
Forget I said anything.
All right.
So Jess, May and Edward might wake up in a second. They're just a little bit of an overload in processing what they're seeing. Jess says, "Oh, okay. So they put something in the moonshine tonight. It's interesting. Wow. Are you real?" And she points at Odessa.
I'm real.
Where do the real things stop being real? And Claude says, "Well, what are you talking about, Jess? These nice gentlemen, they seem plenty real to me."
We are quite real.
Jess, it's hard to believe. It's all real.
I kick you.
Okay, Scratch. I open the trench coat. Scratch. It's probably best to just level with him.
You throw open the trench coat, and Claude Gougeot leans in and squints, and he says, "Oh, they're folksy. Okay, I thought that was a pretty peculiar looking man, but I thought maybe you just had something on like a mask of some sort." And May says, "This is the scariest thing that's ever happened to me."
All right. Well, at this point, get off of me. Get down.
Jump off.
All right, well, you jump down, and now there's just the two mutated foxes standing next to Higgs and Odessa in the porch light. And Claude says, "Well, this isn't too frightening. I always was wondering when one of the spirits would start talking to me."
Ooh. New Year, this forest spirits.
"Oh, you silly goose. Not like a ghost, the spirits of the forest."
That's what I said.
What was your name again?
Claude Gougeot.
Right.
All right. Good luck with that one.
Nice to meet you. You said your name was Grips or
Grapes.
Grape?
Great.
Grape.
Yep.
My apologies, Grape. This is my wife, Esther Gougeot, and you see she bats his hand as he motions to introduce her, and she says, "Esther Vos, not Esther Gougeot."
Some drama.
Yeah. Sorry. I don't want to mean to get into your business.
I
But
told him when I married him that I wasn't going to take the last name Gougeot. Sounds stupid.
yeah, both is much nicer on the ears.
I agree. He didn't. It's a point of contention, but regardless.
Yeah. So I just got in last night from Chicago, and I died. I got shot, and then this one here, Sleeves, he brought me back to life, and they're talking, and it's real. And then we met moles that are also talking and real, and I'm very confused. But as far as I know, I'm not hallucinating anything.
Weird. I'm just subduing the panic inside. Just trying to wrap my head around everything. You see, Jess hasn't said anything, but Claude continues to talk. "Well, My daddy always told me when I was young about an owl. He befriended a talking owl. Had many conversations with that owl, he said. Antennas like a mouth on it. And, of course, I always believed him and everything else he said about the talking animal spirit, but I never met one myself. I figured if it'd been this long and none of them had talked to me, whose fault could that be? Am I right? I don't hold it against them. I'm a mean-looking man, I understand.
What the hell did you just say?
It's the battle of the slightly difficult to read voices.
Honestly, it's something about an owl that was talking.
Jess says, hi. It's nice to meet the four of you. Just to do a quick translation before we keep going. I think that Claude just said that his dad used to talk to an owl and tell Claude about other forest spirits. And he had mentioned those once or twice to me, but I thought he was just, crazy old man in the mountains. He seems the least shocked to meet you. I am very shocked and slightly scared, but I'm still not sure this is real. Might be the moonshine.
Well, that sure sounds like Eugene.
What?
The owl!
Oh, that's so good!
Oh, I'm sorry, it didn't click for me.
He does like talking with old men.
I was like, is that Claude's dad's name is Eugene?
No,
No,
the
the
owl.
owl.
Yeah, I was confused.
No.
Oh my
You little fox, you say you know the owl?
Yeah, he's my best friend.
Well, any friend of the dad, any friend of the owl that talked to my dad that I never personally knew, but he told me a lot about, and about the other forest spirits and your forest spirits, any one of that list of things, or that path of things, is a friend of mine.
So, can we stay at your place?
Who are you asking?
Claude.
That's a
Seems
good
the
point.
most- he seems the most cool with this. Actually, we have an in with Claude.
Claude says, I think Esther and I can make room. Edward, what do you think? Would you rather them stay here or at our place? And you see Edward starting to wake up and he says, well, I missed most of that conversation. It looks like a couple minutes might have passed. What's happening?
Well,
You needed a place to stay for the night. That's right. Mate, would you like the talking foxes to stay at our place? And you see May says, oh, wow, I never believed Claude and all his ramblings about the forest spirits. My neck of the woods, before I moved here, we didn't have no stories about talking animals. The forest spirits my parents told me about were the shadows.
No, we're the animal ones.
Yeah, haven't heard of any animal ones. The shadows were what we learned about. Shadows, they were usually born of regret, my dad would tell me, and that's why I needed to not hold on to grudges or hang on to problems that didn't really matter, because he didn't want to die with those things. That's what he said.
Oh, that sounds like Sophie and Marcus.
I don't think this is sustainable.
it is.
Well, you just seem to know everybody then, you little scamp.
Yeah, everyone's my friend.
So you met some of the shadows then too.
Yeah, they're very friendly.
Interesting. I'd never seen one myself. My cousin in Ohio said that I talked to him a long time ago about it. He was sure that he met one. I thought thought it was just telling tall tales.
Yeah, they don't say much, but they're nice
No,
enough.
they give long monologues.
So you're all looking for a place to stay. Animals can talk. You're welcome to stay here in my place. We got probably more room than the Vos and Gougeot.
So we have two offers.
Well, sure, you're welcome to stay at our place or Edward's. But you're right, they probably have a little bit more room on the floor than we do.
Give us a second. And we huddle up.
Quick furry team huddle.
Tails in.
You see, before you do the huddle, before you come to a decision, Jess speaks up. I wasn't ready for the conversation to end quite yet. I really am interested in talking to the foxes. And I know I'm a stranger to you. Your name was...
Odessa.
It's just this is the craziest thing that's ever happened to me. Still, again, like I keep saying, I don't mean to bring this up, but not 100% sure it's real. Still, just weighing my options. But I wouldn't want to go turn into bed so soon.
But would you believe better if you slept first and the effects of the alcohol went away?
That is a very good idea. Let's sleep on it, but please don't run off in the morning. I'd love to talk to you guys.
Don't look at me like that. We're not gonna run off in the morning.
So excited to make her think she's crazy. You just get like an opportunity like this so rarely. It's the perfect mischief. I'm a fox.
So she agrees with that plan, and you guys are able to huddle, I guess, if you want to do a huddle about whose house to stay in.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to pull Sleeves into a huddle. You guys,
you two get in a huddle within the huddle.
Huddle.
Sleeves, I feel like I should have brought this up way sooner. I was so caught up in trying to look like I was the legs of a human. We can sleep outside. It's not a huge deal. There's a lot of like trees here. We're like near like a really rocky hill area. Maybe we could find like a cave or a nook. We don't have to go. We could just get some food and like go sleep somewhere else.
This is the first time we've been invited to a human's house.
I just feel like it's a bad precedent. Maybe like. What happens the next time a human invites you to their house? You're just gonna, without thinking, jump up and say, "Yeah, sure, I'll come sleep in your human bed."
I don't see anything wrong with it.
Look at it this way. Remember when that person shot Grape? If somebody were to shoot us, we would also be dead. And we saw the moles. They were pretty bad at using the guns. It's mostly a human thing.
Mm-hmm.
And 2 of the humans fainted the moment they saw us.
Well, they just need some time to get adjusted to us.
I'm just nervous about staying so long.
Can I hear this conversation?
Yeah,
100% you can hear
Absolutely.
this.
they're huddled like within.
They've each got like
They
one
couldn't
paw.
reach up to you and Higgs huddling, so you and Higgs kind of have your arms on each other in a huddle, and they're down in the middle of that in a little huddle. So you're just listening to this conversation.
Okay. Scratch. We're not going to stay here that long, and I think you should just let your little brother live a little.
I mean, I gotta look out for him, right? And he is so tolerant of risk. He doesn't seem to be afraid of anything, and that's not a good attitude. We're foxes. We live in the woods. Things are dangerous.
But right now, I want to say that I won't let anything happen to you too.
All right, I look over at Sleeves, and I'm like, Sleeves, if we're gonna stay at the human house, you gotta be real careful. You don't touch anything. You don't look at it. You don't eat anything they don't give you. We cannot make these people upset.
Yeah, sure, whatever you say.
Hey, but tomorrow morning we're gonna have a birthday party, right?
For your birthdays.
What?
Well, it's
What
like
are
you
you
said.
talking about?
We're gonna make you a cake for your birthdays.
The Gougeot.
Gougeot.
I'm sure the Gougeots would love to make you guys cake.
They've got to have ingredients.
Okay, we'll stay till tomorrow, and then tomorrow after I try the cake, and then can we do 2 cakes, one for me and one for Sleeves?
Yeah, one's gonna have 6 candles, one's gonna have 8.
All right, that sounds good. We'll stay at least till then, and then we'll talk. We'll get in another huddle and we'll plan out a next step.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
So we're staying with the Gougeots then.
Obviously.
If they're the cake people, that makes sense to me.
I think they're the cake people.
Good talk.
On 3.
Furries.
What are we doing on 3?
Furries.
Furries.
1,
1, 2, 3.
Furries.
Okay. So we join back with the other people.
We walk
All right.
the 15 feet towards them again.
Hey, Claude. We would love to stay with you.
All right, you could, I guess at this point might be time to turn in if you want to get some rest. You guys looking rough, all scratched up and what have you.
Well, Grape just kind of looks like that.
That's true. We found him like that.
He was
He
shot great when we
twice.
got him.
Esther says, if you lot are hungry, I could put on. I know it's quite late and now you want to rest, but wouldn't it be nice to rest on a full tummy? I could put a pot on the fire and cook up some soup if you want.
So I give the two humans a look. I don't know if this is something to stay up for.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we would love that.
You all see Claude and Esther get up from their porch, say goodnight. Jess says goodnight as well and heads back. But Claude and Esther lead you back to their house as the Harbins also turn in for the night. The inside of Claude Gougeot and Esther Voss's cabin is similar to your shack, Odessa. Not quite the same. They're not like identical, but there's a lot of similarities. There's a bed that's well used, low to the ground in the corner nearest to the fireplace, where a pot hangs on a rack over a smoldering flame at this point. A trunk sits near the end of the foot of the bed. A shelf and large table in the far end of the cabin hold jars of food, sacks of grain, jugs of water, and some bottles of moonshine whiskey. Quite illegal still. Hanging on the wall, along with various tools and pans, is a rifle above the door. Clearly handmade in a forge in the mountains and not a factory with its precision. Everything here is bigger, it's roomier, and things are older while still being less worn than the things at your house, owing to the quality of the original products.
Esther, do you mind if I help you prepare dinner?
If you want to help out, then of course. I wouldn't want to stop you from doing something you want to do. You see Esther make sure everybody eats their fill and graciously accepts the help in preparing some of the food. They kindly offer you a sort of just bedspread on the wooden floor of the cabin, spanned around the fireplace to keep everybody as warm as possible in proximity to the flame in the cool night. They say their goodnights and extinguish the oil lanterns and prepare to go to sleep.
Can I just say I see Scratch and Sleeves like on their back like this, like cover, but their from paws are like hanging out.
Sleeves lay on their back, really tucked in, up to their paws, but their front paws sit just over the covers like they're holding them as their heads rest on the ground.
It's much better than Odessa's table would have been.
You never had to sleep there.
I never had to sleep there.
Saved. Honestly. The gunshot was better.
What if the lantern was Ned going back to her house to sleep on her bed?
He's like, wait.
He was
wait.
He's like, that was my house, right? He goes, she just went back. That's what it was.
And we saw they were sprinting it, so it had to be someone's cry.
And now he's still there.
Unless anybody wants to have any hushed conversation, you all pass out in your own time.
We get a long rest.
You get a long rest, but there's something else that happens. Higgs. You're running through the yard of a dreary-looking 3-story building on the outskirts of Chicago. This is the place you grew up in, a city-run orphanage. You're not seeing a memory like before when you were dying. This carries the lightheaded, flowy feeling of a regular dream. Scanning the yard you run around, you feel the giddy anticipation of being a seeker in a game of hide and seek. Milton's got to be around here somewhere. The two of you have grown quite close since you're about the same age and have been here about the same amount of time. You look around the area, small fenced yard with nothing but a swing and a couple of large trees. Make an in-dream investigation or perception check with advantage from the help action.
It's not how hide and seek works.
He's got to be behind the trees.
Oh, I didn't see.
That's a 26 perception.
Your eyes catch the toe of a shoe poking out from behind one of the trees.
I knew it.
You got him. You run at full sprint and jump to the other side of the tree, and you see Milton. But Milton, when you knew him later in life as adults, he's wearing the get-up that he wears while singing and performing on stage. He looks just like he looked in the memory when he was staring at you. He nods to you, and you wake up with an uneasy feeling. You can make an insight check against yourself with advantage from the help action.
Why do I keep getting the help action? That's scary. Stop it. I'm not a tentacle.
You know what's giving you the help action?
24.
Higgs, there's a weird feeling weighing on your chest as you sit up in the early morning, probably the first person awake. You pinpoint the feeling of anxiety. The kind of anxiety you feel with an approaching deadline. Like time is running out.
No one else is awake?
No.
Just gonna start going through my notes and just making sure I haven't missed anything. It really feels like a disease, but I don't know how it relates to angels or why Jove brought me here. I just want to make sure I'm not missing any details that have happened in the last 12 hours.
It has been a short amount of time. I'll also say something else happens as you wake up. You wake up not feeling just rested after a good night's sleep. You feel stronger, a little more full of energy. And as you checking yourself, seeing if everything's all right, you see that those wounds from the gunshots that were still pretty gnarly open wounds have healed a little bit. Not all the way, but they've healed and you feel stronger. Blake, you go from 1 HP to half HP after a full night's rest.
Okay.
You're going through your notes in the early morning as I think other people are starting to wake up as you're just trying to take into account everything. There's the strange substance you found in the roots. Mm-hmm. There's somebody that intended to kill you seemingly as soon as you got to the town. There's talking animals with mutations. You haven't seen any people or other things with mutations, just the animals, and the animals seem to have higher intelligence and also the ability, only one of them, the ability to heal. There's talk of angels in town from Odessa that also have the ability to heal. But Odessa didn't mention anything about strange mutations. Like, if it's the same power that Sleeves has, surely if it came from the same source, it would have the same effects. But it'd be weird to not mention that the angels, the people, had visceral or noticeable mutations. And there's these dreams. Your friend Milton, you feel like time's running out. You feel anxiety. And when you looked into his eyes in that memory, when you died, there was the feeling of desperation, like somebody reaching out for help. I think everybody begins to wake up in the early morning, fully rested. Sleeves, you can remove 1 level of exhaustion, but the 2 out of 4 for the next level of exhaustion remains. A long rest only removes 1 level of exhaustion.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody begins to wake up.
Good morning, guys.
So about that cake.
Right. We're gonna do the birthday.
Somebody wants to make it somebody's birthday?
Yeah.
We got 2 birthdays in the house.
Both of their birthdays. Turning 8. Scratch is turning 8 and Sleeves is turning 6.
Well, that is just so precious. I have some flour and I could go check the chicken nest, see about some eggs, and maybe if I go over to May, she might have some milk from one of the cows that she could give me. And that's a pretty good, it's been some time since we bought anything that we didn't make ourselves. So I don't know about sugar. Might be not too sweet a cake. I could check with the Harbins if you want.
That would be perfect.
Well, if you're asking for it, I'm happy to go check. She heads over. She comes back to the house with a metal pail of milk and a wooden cup full of sugar. She sets them down on the table and she says, Claude, it's time to wake up. And she kicks Claude, who is still on the ground. Claude gets up with a start. And you all begin to make the cake, throw the ingredients together, and put them on a low pan that goes over the fire on the wreck that Claude makes sure to start up to warm up the cabin. Everybody eats their share of breakfast cake.
Now we're so ready to go. That's how many temp HP? Phillip? You're not telling me how much temp HP is?
Watch this.
Oh, this isn't a bit. Blake, you have the cook feature.
Right? I genuinely am. I do have the chef feat.
Oh, I forgot.
I'm obviously helping make the cake.
Yeah.
You cook breakfast. You said you would.
Yeah. Cook special food. Everyone gets 3 temp HP if they eat a slice of the cake.
Everybody eats their fill of the cake and gets 3 temp HP. That lasts how long?
Oh, I think temp HP goes away when you long rest.
Oh, until long.
Or if you get another set of temp HP.
Do you guys want to talk about what your plan is? If you want to do another huddle outside.
We have to re-huddle.
Quick huddle without Claude.
Well, you don't have to specify without Claude. I
Well,
think
we know
we
it's
knew.
without-
Okay, just so we're on the same page.
You guys head outside and do a quick group huddle. Once again, Scratch and Sleeves cannot reach your arms for the huddle aspect of this huddle. So it's just kind of Odessa and Higgs, unless you want to prop yourself up and rest your paws on their hips to be a part of the huddle.
I think that's better.
Yeah.
Then we can whisper quieter.
So first, we should probably go talk to Jess because I know she wanted to talk to you two, and we should probably stay good on that promise.
So I will say, I'm not sure I like all these humans knowing too much about us being around.
I mean, Jess already knows.
Yeah, but if
So-
we leave, then she'll think she drank too much moonshine because she's already convinced herself.
We can't do that to our friend.
You make friends too easily, Sleeves. I feel like I need to tell you that now.
And you don't make friends at all. And that's a sad life.
I have one friend. I have Sleeves. He's my brother.
He's your brother. He's not your friend.
Well,
He
hold
can be
on.
both.
I thought we were the furries together. Are we not your friends?
Okay, yeah, sure.
And we're all right, aren't we?
Okay, Grape, calm down.
Okay, but I'm all right.
Yeah, you're not bad.
I think you got to open up a little.
I'm open. I just ate a cake.
You're not open.
I'm the most open person that I know, except maybe Sleeves.
Right. You just don't know enough people. Your sample size is tiny.
We could talk to Jess, but then what are we gonna do after that?
Well, we got to head back and meet the moles.
Yeah.
Our
that makes
other
sense.
friends.
Your other friends, exactly.
Okay, I don't know about friends.
Higgs.
We made an arms deal with them. Like it's very transactional. We're arming their revolution in exchange for information. That's
We're not going to give them the gun.
I can't believe you guys are doing the Contra.
we're the
Contra
CIA.
scale. Higgs, as you're talking about what to do and where to go, make another insight check with advantage from the help action.
He's watching. He's helping.
22.
When you say head back to Odessa's house, head back to meet the moles, back towards the company town, you feel a twinge in your chest.
Heartburn.
From the cake.
Aside from the heartburn from the cake, of course, you're feeling, the best way to describe it is like you're being pulled, like there's a pull deeper into the forest.
Can I tell where or just in general?
There's a general direction.
How long do you guys think the moles are going to take to get there? They're probably not there yet, right? Snake's going to take a while.
They said it would take them how long to get the gun to the edge of the forest? Like months? I think we're fine. We'll meet them there.
We can, like, if we head back now, we'll probably get there way before then.
Okay, but why are we waiting?
I agree.
I feel like there's something else out there. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy.
What do you think is out there?
Something that can connect the dots. It's just a gut feeling.
So what do you suggest?
Look deeper, I guess. I don't know. Because before I got to the town, there was this tree that had been overturned, and there was this red substance on the bottom of it, and I saw more of it when I died, and it's all confusing, and I've been having weird dreams, but I think it's calling to me. I know I sound crazy.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, well, I think the
Easy
three of us
mind.
all look at each other and we nod. You know,
Yeah.
Have you been eating any suspicious mushrooms?
No, I didn't eat anything. I don't know.
have we seen the red stuff, Phillip?
You can make a history check.
It's not 20. My history is
It's just what we need.
locked in.
You and these nat 20s about looking into the past for more clues about the thing that you shouldn't really know a lot about. You go and re-examine your memories once again, Scratch.
I go into my mind palace. You say?
You go into your mind palace
Uh-huh.
to look through memories, and you just go back to what you already suspected, what you already told the rest of the furries about. When you pounced on that rabbit, you were doing that fox thing where you like leap halfway into its burrow in an attempt to get as far down as you possibly can in order to reach the rabbit deep in the earth. And there was something there. through the rocky soil making up the tunnel that the rabbit was in, there were veins of like a root network that were, that you've seen before. Tree roots maybe sometimes break through in your own little hole in the ground. But these roots were not looking for nutrients in the soil. They weren't very spread out. They were going from root to root of other plants and trees, and they were red. Didn't seem very important at the time. Though you examine your memories sometimes, you never thought to notice that before Higgs brought it up.
That's the only time I've seen it?
It's the only time you've seen it.
I think I have seen that red plant stuff in that rabbit's burrow that made me and Sleeves like this.
In the burrow, so it's with the roots?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's up to you guys. I think I have an idea of a direction to go to, but none of it really makes sense to me right now.
I think we follow your gut. It is, in fact, filled with cake.
So, the town and the direction I'm being pulled in, are they like opposites? Are they roughly close to each other?
They're opposites. The direction you're being pulled in is deeper into the forest.
Well, for the record, I do prefer being in the forest to going back to the town.
The moles will wait, right?
They need the gun more than we need.
They have our bullets.
They've been waiting months.
Yeah, but their bullets are useless out the gun. We have some at least.
We've got 3?
So if we mount into 3 people, no more people. Problem solved.
I don't know how I feel about just
know how guns
shooting
work.
the first 3 people we run into.
Okay, well, people who are, bad people.
Right, okay. If you guys are all right, not going back just yet, I could try to lead us there.
Okay, we'll follow you.
Yeah.
Okay, but first, let's talk to Jess.
If we must.
You all agree on a course of action to talk to Jess and then head deeper into the forest to explore this feeling deep in Higgs's gut, like somebody or something is calling to him.
Grape.
Deep in Grape's gut.
That flows back.
The grape gut, yeah.
The Grape gut. And that's all for this episode of Fire and Smoke, Blight and Bloom. If you want to keep up with the show, you can follow me on my personal Dungeons & Dragons TikTok account at WitchDunphy, WHICHDUNPHY. If you're enjoying the show so far, please make sure to leave a rating for us on Spotify. It really helps us out, and we really appreciate it. Does anybody else have anything they want to say before the end of the episode?
I don't know what's happening.
Oh, you know what's happening.
I know. Stop doing the tentacle thing. I keep getting the help action on everything. It's scary.
So every time Blake's been getting the help action, I've been holding my hands up to my mouth and doing like wiggly tentacles because it's 100% Cthulhu. There's an eldritch horror from another plane. So that's who's helping you.
Cthulhu. It's Cthulhu. You figured it out. You cracked the story.
It's just the most.
Cthulhu is probably the Blight.
And then
probably not the Bloom.
Is the mutations? The powers?
Yeah. Or flowers.
Maybe
Does
the
mean
Bloom.
I'm going to get powers?
Oh.
No way.
6 legs. 6 legs grape. 6 legs grape.
I become
6 legs.
My skin turns purple.
Like you were exploring in your own notes, Odessa hadn't said anything about the humans with powers having mutations.
Yeah.
And
They
also,
hide it really well.
Scratch and Sleeves seem to have had interaction with the red substance, how they got there. Unclear about the timeline with that, but they never mentioned having strange dreams of things calling to them or anything.
Yeah.
Surely they would have brought that up
a little different.
if it had.
Yeah. Yours
happened
is
to
worse.
them. You're special, Higgs.
Grape.
Aww.
You're special, Grape.
I don't like it.
You're his favorite.
I don't like it. Why am I special?
Well, worst case, we're down 1 grape. I guess it's happened before. We can put it back.
You could just steal Peep and then rename her to Grape.
Yes. We love Peep.
Peep's become a real cast favorite, I guess.
I don't know why.
Because she can see.
I just like the energy.
You guys
Yeah.
really like Peep's energy. You really like Esther's energy.
And Ned, I guess.
And Ned.
We got to pick one every group interaction.
See, it's weird because I really liked Eli actually, but then he had no chance
He
to
literally
outshine.
dipped and left.
Yeah, he had no chance
So
to
did
outshine.
Ned.
So did they
Yeah,
both
but-
ran out of the house when the window shattered
But
because
when
somebody
Ned
was shooting in the house.
But no,
Ned-
when Ned does something, it's beautiful.
Ned
Ned
is
does
so,
it,
like,
it's like heroic
acrobatic.
and like I'm like worried for Ned's safety, but when Eli does it, I'm like, you coward, come back here.
Exactly.
Like,
Ned
help
shambling
Ned
as
escape.
fast as he can out of the house behind Eli, who's sprinting away.
Eli should be helping Ned out.
Yeah.
And
No,
not-
he probably like got out first.
You know,
and
yeah,
then the
Eli
doors
probably pushed him
landed.
out of the way.
Ned was opening the door. Eli pushed him to the side and then
Yeah.
tried to run away.
And then Ned came back with a lantern. Like he's maybe he was running for a light.
Oh, you guys just you dogpile onto people like Eli or people like McGovern.
Hey, McGovern got what he deserved.
McGovern could come back again.
That guy
Let's be clear.
immediately decided to come back as a revenant and find his revenge. That's a violent man.
McGovern could be a shadow, which obviously we didn't
No,
talk
no,
about
no,
during
so
the
that's-
episode.
So that's interesting
back.
because Cassius didn't become a shadow because he had regrets, I don't think. I think he became a shadow because he made a deal with
Oh, he did, right?
El Diablo or
He had
something.
regrets, right?
It was because he made a deal, I thought.
A nationwide game of telephone about mythology of
Yeah.
spirits and the supernatural, and maybe some things get lost or confused, but
I don't think it's regret based. I think they're actually wrong about that. They've lost it over time
Regret based makes more sense to.
as a lesson.
Yeah.
it's also a fun piece of lore about not like about a shadow, but about multiple shadows.
Maybe
There's-
El
there's
Diablo's still
ghost-
kicking.
There's ghost stories about so I think it got established during last season. It's not El Diablo. It's somebody else. It wasn't El Diablo before he had his
It's
brand.
the devil.
Doesn't seem like the devil.
Actually, no, we stopped the devil. Right. I forget.
Yeah.
The Devil of Gold.
That was the devil.
We got him.
That was the devil.
Okay, maybe there's like a cooler off-brand El Diablo or something.
Everything in your mind is a frame of reference is El Diablo.
Yeah, I miss him. Let's go back to the Nine Hells and get him back because I think we banished him there. Like he doesn't want to leave there anymore.
Whoa, Ethan, you're getting ahead of us here. Hold that off for the Christmas special.
Yes, yes.
The Christmas special where we go to hell.
El Diablo, we're coming. Don't worry, we'll be right there.
Christmas special where you go to hell. Time for a good old
Slate cut.